I'm going to share 10 subtle decor or styling tips that we have done that makes our house look more cozy, intentional, and in some cases a little bit luxe. Let's get into it. Sacred space. Hi all, we moved into this house last year July and it's not fully done yet in terms of styling. You can see a lot of empty walls and ideas that we haven't figured out yet for those walls. In the meantime, I've had several of you ask me for some decor tips and I thought I didn't want to wait until the house is fully done. So I'm going to share 10 subtle decor or styling tips that we have done that makes our house look more cozy, intentional, and in some cases a little bit luxe. Let's get into it. Curtains over blinds. When we were setting up the house, the first thing we had to choose was curtains or blinds. So blinds worked out to be practical and neat, whereas curtains were giving that soft and cozy feel. And we love that feeling. So we obviously went with curtains. It also adds layers to the room in a way that layers feels calming for us. That's another reason we went for curtains. In terms of fabric, we have chosen different kinds of fabric for different window coverings. Let's start with this one. This is somewhat of a thick fabric, but it's not going to block out the light fully. So it's still functional. And in terms of design, we went with two colors. So there are two different fabrics stitched with a third fabric, the gold color, and it's giving us that look. We got this design from Pinterest, like lots and lots of research on Pinterest and lots of design websites, and we came up with this custom design. We got it done in India. For this big void, we went with sheer curtain, and it's also matching the whitish color that we have here. That's the second kind of curtain we have. And then there's only one other kind of curtain we have in our media room, and that's the blockout curtain. It makes sense to have blockout curtains in media room. Tip is choose depending on the vibe that you're going for. Curtains give that soft look, whereas blinds give that neat and minimal look. Depending on the vibe you're going for, you can either choose curtains or blinds. So as soon as we decided on curtains, we were very particular to hang them on the ceiling and not just above the window. This makes your room look taller and more polished. Also, another thing is, don't just hang your curtains up to the window. If you can, just do it all the way on the wall. That way it looks very posh. I'm going to open this for you to show how big is the window and how wide we have hung them. So our window ends here, but we still have curtains all of this space. This way, the wall itself looks very posh and very wide. It also depends on the fabric you choose. Try and choose a good quality fabric, which is obviously going to add to the poshness. Tip is, hang your curtains high and wide and let the bottom touch the floor. Size up your duvet. This is a king bed, but we have a super king size duvet. When you do this, it gives your bed that plush, oversized and boutique hotel feel without needing anything fancy or expensive. It also drapes on the sides beautifully and it makes the bed feel fuller and neater even though you haven't made it neatly. So your tip is size up your duvets. Layer your lighting. So we didn't just rely on ceiling down lights. We have different kinds of lights in our house. We've got chandelier, we've got pendant lights, we've got track light, we also have wall lights. Currently, we don't have any floor lamps, but we've been thinking what kind of floor lamp we want to get and where do we want to place it, and if it's going to add any style to the way it is currently styled. Now, in terms of lighting itself, just having them at different heights gives different levels of brightness and it adds different mood to the room. So, depending on what mood we are going for, we turn on the light accordingly. The tip is, lay your lights at different heights to give different mood, not just the brightness. Feature wall with texture and contrast. We didn't want to go for a loud statement wall. We wanted something that grounded the space. So we went for this wall panels that's gray in color with a little bit of texture and subtle gold lines. They are elegant without being flashy, and it adds depth without overwhelming the space. Tip: you don't need bold color to make a statement. Even subtle contrast and texture can go a long way. A mirror that's not just for small spaces. Our mirror is not at a tight spot or the entryway of the house. It's more towards the walkway into the living room. It opens up the space. It is not as dramatic, but it reflects light in such a clean and seamless fashion. The mirror itself has a frame which is subtle gold in color, and it goes with rest of our decor. Now the tip is, don't just think about the placement of the mirror, also think about what it reflects and how it makes you feel when you're walking past it. Styling with contrast, texture and flow. Our living and dining area mixes deep tones, curves, soft fabrics and texture. Let me walk you through what is going on here. So we have a whitish color sofa. This is made of fabric, and we have two green swivel chairs. The fabric here is boucle, so it adds a different texture to the room, and the dining chairs are made of leather. So that's the third texture that we have going on in the room. We have balanced these with gold colors. Now you can see brushed gold in our coffee table legs, and also the dining chairs have gold in their legs. There's also a pop of gold on our side table here. So we have green, brown, gold and whitish colors going on here. The swivel chairs have a round backrest, and so does our dining chairs. So the tip is, play with colors, play with complementing colors, textures and shapes. Planters that add to the design. Most of our plants are still growing, but we chose this barrel shaped planter boxes because it adds to the design of the house. The gold color itself is not overwhelming and it's not screaming for attention, and it adds that aesthetic to what is going on in the living and dining area. So the tip is, choose plants that add to the design and not just fillers for the space. A puja room with a tanjore anchor. This room is small and intentional, and that's the vibe that we were going for. We have two big tanjore paintings here, and we wanted to keep our focus on that. The rest of the room is still styled with parts of gold and silver. These wall lights also complement to the aesthetic of the room. In the next few months, we intend to buy a few more tanjore paintings, but not as big as these two because we wanted to focus on these. Sacred spaces are meant to be intentional. So the tip is to have meaningful elements and a clean layout. Scent is designed too. So we layer our scents just like we layer our lighting. In the morning, after a morning puja, we light incense, and that's fresh and uplifting during the day. In the evenings, we put some essential oil in the diffuser, and it makes it very cozy and grounding in the evenings. Sometimes it lets us fall asleep too. So, scent is something that people remember when they walk into your home. Whether it's candle, diffuser or incense, scent completely changes the mood of a space. So the tip is, don't overlook how your house smells. Our home is still very much a work in progress, but it already feels like us, and that's the part that matters. You don't need to finish everything at once. You just need to start making small, intentional choices that reflect you. Thanks for hanging out with me, and let me know what part of your home you're styling right now. I'd love to hear.